In an inspiring and groundbreaking move, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young revolutionary leader of Burkina Faso, has once again shown the world what true leadership looks like. This time, he has turned his attention to one of the most pressing and overlooked issues on the continent: empowering African women. Today, we bring you the full story of how Traoré has built Africa's first ever $50 million project dedicated entirely to women. A move that is being celebrated not just in Burkina Faso, but across the entire continent. For decades, African women have been the backbone of their societies: farmers, traders, teachers, caretakers, and leaders in their own right. Yet, they have often been marginalized economically, socially, and politically. Ibrahim Traoré, who rose to power promising a new kind of governance rooted in justice, equality, and dignity, recognized that any true revolution must include women at its center. Earlier this year, Traoré announced plans for a massive project, an ambitious $50 million initiative aimed at empowering women across Burkina Faso and serving as a model for the rest of Africa. This project, called Centre d'Excellence des Femmes Africaines, or Center of Excellence for African Women, is now complete and already operational. Located on the outskirts of Ouagadougou, the sprawling complex covers over 200 acres and is unlike anything the region has seen before. The center is designed to address several key areas where women have historically faced barriers. First, it includes a state-of-the-art vocational training institute that provides free courses in trades such as agriculture, textile manufacturing, renewable energy technologies, healthcare, IT, and entrepreneurship. The goal is to equip thousands of women each year with practical skills that can help them build independent businesses, find meaningful work, and support their families. But it doesn't stop at just education. The project also features an affordable daycare center, a maternal health clinic, and a shelter for victims of domestic violence, ensuring that women who come to train or seek help can do so in safety and dignity. There are also microfinance offices on site offering zero-interest loans to women who graduate from the programs and want to start their own businesses. Traoré made it clear that the women of Burkina Faso would no longer be at the mercy of predatory lenders or discriminatory banks. What's more, the center includes a policy research institute focused on women's issues. This arm of the project will collect data, develop solutions, and advise the government on laws and initiatives that can improve the lives of women not only in Burkina Faso, but in West Africa as a whole. In his speech at the grand opening ceremony, Traoré said, "We cannot claim to be free if half of our society remains in chains. We cannot claim to be independent if our mothers, sisters, and daughters are left behind." This center is not just a building. It is a promise that in the Burkina Faso we are building, every woman will have the tools, the respect, and the freedom to build her own destiny. The project has already enrolled its first 2,500 women, and applications are pouring in from across the country. International observers, NGOs, and African leaders have praised Traoré's vision, calling it a model that should be replicated across the continent. The African Union even issued a statement applauding the initiative as a historic step toward gender equality in Africa. What makes this project even more remarkable is that it was entirely funded and built without foreign aid. Traoré and his government insisted that this center be funded through domestic resources and contributions from Burkinabe citizens, sending a powerful message of self-reliance and pride. Women who have already begun training at the center have shared moving stories about how this opportunity has changed their lives. One young woman training in solar panel installation said, For the first time, I feel like my future is in my hands. This is the Burkina Faso I want my daughter to grow up in. Another, who is studying agriculture, said, "We have been waiting for someone to believe in us. Captain Traoré believed in us when no one else did." This $50 million center is not just a building. It is a statement of intent, a testament to the power of visionary leadership and to the idea that no society can truly progress unless women are allowed to thrive alongside men. Ibrahim Traoré has shown once again that he is not just fighting against external oppression, but also against internal injustices that have held his people back for far too long. Across Africa, women and men alike are watching and taking note. Could this be the beginning of a new era for African women? Could this project inspire other nations to follow suit and invest in their most valuable but underutilized resource, their women? Only time will tell. One thing is certain. Ibrahim Traoré has sent a powerful message, one that says women are not just part of the revolution. They are the revolution. After completing Africa's first ever $50 million project for women, Traoré turned his focus to another group that has long been neglected, the youth of Burkina Faso. This time, he launched an unprecedented $30 million National Youth Innovation and Technology Hub, designed to unlock the potential of young Burkina minds and make the country a beacon of innovation in West Africa. For too long, Burkina Faso's youth had few opportunities beyond low-wage farm work or dangerous migration routes. Many left the country in search of jobs, while others fell prey to extremist recruiters promising money and purpose. Traoré decided this was unacceptable. Earlier this year, construction began on a massive tech and innovation park in Kédougou, one of Burkina Faso's largest cities. The project took just 10 months to complete, thanks to round-the-clock work and the involvement of thousands of young volunteers who helped build what they hoped would change their future. The hub is a sprawling, ultra-modern complex equipped with co-working spaces, laboratories, classrooms, and high-speed internet access, a rarity in many parts of Burkina Faso. There are dedicated labs for artificial intelligence, robotics, renewable energy, and agricultural technology. Workshops and hackathons are held weekly to foster creativity and competition. At the heart of the hub is a startup accelerator program that provides seed funding, mentorship, and even export opportunities for young entrepreneurs with bold ideas. Already, several teams have begun developing projects, from affordable solar-powered water pumps for rural farmers, to apps that help women traders access new markets, to drones that deliver medical supplies to hard-to-reach areas. At the inauguration ceremony, Traoré said, Burkina Faso will not wait for others to bring us into the future. We will build our own future, with our own hands, with the power of our youth. The young people of this nation have always been full of ideas. Now, they will also have the tools to bring those ideas to life. The hub is not just about technology. It also offers training in leadership, public speaking, business management, and ethics, ensuring that the next generation of innovators is also socially responsible and deeply connected to their communities. One young innovator, whose team is working on an irrigation automation system, said, For years we have been told Africa can only consume what others invent. Now we know we can also invent, create, and lead. Thanks to Traoré, we believe in ourselves again. The National Youth Innovation and Technology Hub has already started attracting attention from regional neighbors, with delegations from Mali, Niger, and even Ghana visiting the site to learn from Burkina Faso's model. Traoré's bold move is a reminder that true leadership is about planting seeds for the future. It's about giving hope where there was none, and proving that even in one of the world's poorest nations, greatness is possible when you believe in your people. Across Africa, young people are watching. They're seeing that the so-called impossible can happen when a leader chooses to invest in them instead of exploiting them. Traoré himself put it best. Africa's wealth is not underground. It is in the hearts and minds of our young people, and we will no longer let that wealth go to waste. Just months after inaugurating Africa's first-ever $50 million Women's Empowerment Center and a $30 million Youth Innovation Hub, Captain Traoré unveiled yet another transformative project, a free national health care program for mothers and children, the first of its kind in Burkina Faso's history. For decades, maternal and infant mortality rates in Burkina Faso have been among the highest in the world. Thousands of women have died giving birth simply because they couldn't afford proper care. Newborns and children under 5 have perished from preventable diseases like malaria, pneumonia, and diarrhea. These tragedies became a symbol of neglect, and Traoré decided that had to end. Earlier this year, he announced a bold plan: free, universal health care for all pregnant women, new mothers, and children under 5. Funded entirely by state resources and new revenue from gold and phosphate mining reforms, the program covers prenatal care, childbirth in hospitals or clinics, emergency cesarean sections, vaccinations, and treatment for common childhood illnesses, all at no cost. To make the program work, Traoré's government invested in hiring and training 4,000 additional nurses and midwives, renovating over 150 rural clinics, and building 12 brand-new maternal and child health centers across the country. Ambulances and mobile clinics were also deployed to reach remote villages that previously had no access to medical services. At the launch ceremony of the program, Traoré stood in front of a crowd of mothers and newborn babies and said, "No. Mother should bury her child because she is poor. No woman should die giving life. In our Burkina Faso, every life is sacred, no matter how poor, no matter how rural. This is our duty as a nation." The results have already been extraordinary. In the first 6 months of the program, over 130,000 women have given birth safely in hospitals, maternal mortality has dropped by 40%, and immunization rates for infants have surged to their highest levels in history. Women across Burkina Faso have expressed overwhelming gratitude. One mother said, "Before, I feared pregnancy because I knew we couldn't afford the hospital. Now I feel safe. I can bring my child into the world with dignity." International organizations such as UNICEF and the World Health Organization have praised the initiative as a model for other African nations. Experts say that if sustained, this program could save tens of thousands of lives in the coming years. What makes this story even more inspiring is that Traoré refused to rely on foreign aid or loans for the program. Instead, he increased taxes on luxury mining exports, cracked down on corruption, and redirected funds to health and education. By doing this, he sent a powerful message that even in a resource-constrained country, it is possible to protect the most vulnerable if there is political will. Traoré summed it up best in his speech: "Our wealth must serve our people. Gold in the ground is useless if our children die before they can even walk. This program is not a gift, it is justice." Across Africa, people are taking note. Traoré's vision is proving that development is not just about roads and skyscrapers, but about caring for the people who build them. Not long after launching historic initiatives for women, youth, and health care, Captain Traoré unveiled a bold and symbolic project that captured the hearts of millions: the Burkina Faso National Food Sovereignty Program, aimed at making the country fully self-sufficient in food production within 5 years. Asterisk for decades. Burkina Faso, like much of Africa, depended heavily on imported grains, rice, and processed foods, despite having fertile land and millions of farmers. This reliance left the country vulnerable to global price fluctuations, sanctions, and exploitation by foreign corporations. Traoré decided that true independence would remain impossible if his people couldn't even feed themselves. Asterisk. In a televised address, he declared, asterisk, "A nation that cannot feed its own children is not truly free. From this day forward, we reclaim our soil, our seeds, and our right to eat what we grow." Asterisk. The program began with immediate reforms. Traoré's government distributed more than 10,000 modern tractors, plows, and irrigation pumps to farmers at no cost, along with high-quality local seeds and organic fertilizers. He banned the importation of genetically modified seeds from foreign multinationals, instead reviving indigenous varieties that are more resilient and nutritious. Asterisk. Large tracts of state-owned land were given to organized cooperatives of young farmers and women's groups, ensuring that those most in need had access to land to cultivate. Storage silos and cold chain systems were built in rural areas to prevent post-harvest losses. Rural roads were repaired to speed up the delivery of crops to markets. Asterisk. Perhaps the most revolutionary aspect was the introduction of a guaranteed minimum price for staple crops like millet, maize, and rice, ensuring farmers would no longer be at the mercy of exploitative middlemen. Traoré also created a national food reserve, giant warehouses stocked with grains, to stabilize prices and prepare for droughts or crises. Asterisk. Within the first year, domestic food production jumped by 35%, and Burkina Faso exported surplus vegetables to neighboring countries for the first time in decades. Markets were filled with affordable, locally grown produce. Rural families began earning better incomes, and malnutrition rates started to decline. One farmer in the north said, "We used to beg foreigners for food. Now we feed ourselves and even sell to others. For the first time, we feel proud to be farmers." Asterisk. Women who received cooperative land plots said the project transformed their lives. One woman leader shared, asterisk, "Our mothers worked the land but stayed poor. Now we work the land and earn respect, money, and independence. Captain Traoré has shown us what is possible." Asterisk. Regional leaders and international observers praised the program as a model for food sovereignty in Africa, proving that with vision and determination, even small and poor countries can break free of dependency and regain control over their own sustenance. Traoré or Acute summed it up during a visit to one of the newly irrigated rice fields. Asterisk. "This soil belongs to us. These seeds belong to us. This harvest belongs to us. And our children will never go hungry again." Asterisk. By transforming Burkina Faso into a breadbasket rather than a begging bowl, Traoré has sent a clear signal. Independence is not just political. It is economic, cultural, and deeply rooted in the land itself. After transforming women's empowerment, youth innovation, healthcare, and food sovereignty, Traoré took aim at a long-neglected but critical issue: housing and dignity for the poor. This time, he launched the Homes for the People program, a $100 million nationwide affordable housing initiative that is already changing lives in Burkina Faso cities and rural areas. Asterisk. For decades, thousands of Burkina families lived in overcrowded slums or mud brick huts with no running water, electricity, or sanitation. Every rainy season, homes collapsed, leaving families homeless. In the capital Ouagadougou alone, more than 200,000 people lived in precarious informal settlements. Traoré saw this as a moral and national shame and vowed to end it. In a speech announcing the program, he said, "The walls we build reflect the respect we have for our people. A nation that leaves its children in the mud cannot call itself free. From today, no Burkinabe shall be left without a roof over their head." The project began with the construction of 25,000 modern, affordable homes in Ouagadougou, Bobo-Dioulasso, and other urban centers, with another 40,000 planned in rural villages. Built using locally sourced materials and labor, each home includes 2 to 3 bedrooms, a living area, clean water access, solar power, and proper sanitation. The homes were designed with the climate in mind, incorporating natural cooling and rainwater harvesting systems. What made this initiative stand out was Traoré's insistence that no one be evicted from their land or left behind. Residents of slums were resettled directly into the new homes, free of charge. Widows, disabled people, and the elderly were prioritized, while low-income workers were given 20 years to repay symbolic costs at zero interest. The program also generated more than 50,000 construction jobs for local workers, further stimulating the economy. Young apprentices were trained in carpentry, masonry, and electrical work as part of the project, gaining valuable skills for their futures. One single mother who moved into her new home said, "All my life, I thought a house like this was for the rich. Now my children can sleep without fear of the rain washing our roof away. This is the first time I feel like a full citizen of my country." In rural areas, new villages with clean streets, clinics, and schools sprung up, reducing rural to urban migration and preserving community life. International observers noted how the project not only improved living conditions but also strengthened social cohesion. Communities that once lived in fragmented and insecure settlements were now organized, safer, and more hopeful about the future. Traoré visited one of the Finnish neighborhoods and said, "This is not charity, it is justice. The wealth of our soil must be reflected in the lives of our people. Our revolution will not be complete until every Burkinabe lives in dignity." The Homes for the People program has inspired similar initiatives in neighboring countries, proving once again that when leaders put people before profit, change is possible even in the most difficult conditions. Traoré has made it clear, independence and dignity are not just ideas you talk about. They are things you build, brick by brick, house by house. After tackling housing, food sovereignty, healthcare, and education, Captain Traoré turned his attention to a painful wound that has scarred his people for generations: the exploitation of Burkina Faso's natural resources by foreign corporations. In a historic move, he launched the National Resource Reclamation Program, which has already changed the economic destiny of his nation. For decades, Burkina Faso, rich in gold, manganese, and phosphate, saw billions of dollars worth of minerals extracted by foreign companies while the majority of its citizens remained poor. Contracts signed by past regimes often gave up to 90% of profits to foreign corporations, leaving behind only environmental destruction and a handful of low-wage jobs. Traoré, known for his fierce sense of justice, made it clear that this would no longer continue under his watch. In a televised address, he declared, "Our soil belongs to our ancestors, to us, and to our children. It is not for sale. The days of looting are over. From today, the wealth of Burkina Faso will build Burkina Faso." He immediately suspended and reviewed all existing mining contracts, demanding that at least 60% of profits remain in the country. Those companies unwilling to renegotiate on fair terms had their licenses revoked. Many walked away, expecting chaos, but Traoré already had a plan. Asterisk within weeks, his government established the Burkina Faso National Mining Company, staffed with local engineers, geologists, and skilled workers. He invited young graduates to join the effort, offering free training and competitive salaries. Asterisk what's more, he introduced strict environmental regulations to repair damage done by decades of reckless extraction. Communities near mining areas were given a share of profits to build schools, clinics, and infrastructure. The results were stunning. In just 1 year, state revenue from gold exports more than doubled. Hundreds of new jobs were created in mining towns. Local businesses, previously shut out of contracts, now thrived as suppliers and partners. A miner in the central region said, "Before, we worked like slaves for foreigners. Now we work for ourselves, and we see the benefits in our families, our schools, our roads. This is how it should have been all along." Asterisk, the increased revenue also funded more social programs, including the free maternal health care initiative and the Youth Innovation Hub. In rural villages, Traoré personally oversaw the construction of wells, clinics, and solar power stations, all paid for by Burkina Faso's own wealth. Asterisk, this bold move sent shockwaves through West Africa. Other leaders quietly began re-examining their own mining contracts, inspired by what Traoré had done. Meanwhile, ordinary Africans across the continent hailed him as a hero, who dared to challenge global corporations and stand up for his people. Asterisk international. Media accused him of being radical, but Traoré responded, asterisk, if being radical means putting my people above profit, then yes, I am radical. And every leader in Africa should be radical for his people. Asterisk, by reclaiming control over his nations. Resources, Traoré proved that economic independence is just as important as political independence. He showed his people, and all of Africa, that they no longer need to be beggars in a land of unimaginable wealth. Asterisk. If this story inspires you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories of Africa rising. And tell us, in the comments, should your country take back its resources too? Do you believe Africa can truly own its wealth? Asterisk, stay brave. Stay hopeful. Stay inspired. Asterisk.